Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we're going to be going over some brief news, and then a majority of the podcast is going to be focused on our first pick'ems of the year. We got 12 matches, 3 on each day, Friday through Sunday this weekend. For the first matches of the MW2 season, we got a little bit of a new format for the pick'ems. So that way, if one of us gets out to a big lead, the other one can still come back. So stay tuned a little bit later to check out what that new format is. But if you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and drop a follow, drop a 5-star review on the audio platforms. Looking forward to getting into predictions. You guys are killing it with the support still, and we're approaching 800 subs again. So this could be potentially a big time for the podcast because we're kicking off the season, and that's obviously when things start to ramp up with popularity for the CDL. So if you guys are new here and you're listening to our predictions and our podcast for the first time, drop a sub. We'd appreciate it. Drop a comment down below. Say you're here. We like to interact with all you guys. So we look forward to all that. And we're really looking forward to getting into pick'ems. But before we do any of that, Brock, how you doing today?
Oh, we're doing great on this. Not Monday, but Tuesday, because, Monday was some complications came up for that. But Tuesday, had watched the USA men's soccer team win 1-0, go to advance to the round of 16.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hyped. Super hyped.
Oh,
Even more hyped to get to this news and predictions, though.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. US team did win. We played Netherlands on Saturday at like 9 a.m. our time.
Yep.
Central time, like 10 a.m. Eastern. Pretty early start, but I think that's like nighttime in Qatar. I think that's pretty close to like 6, 7 p.m.
I think they're 8 hours ahead.
That's why people were asking why like we have 1 p.m. times, like that time sucks. I'm like, that's about as late as they can start there.
Yeah, it's like 11 p.m. when the game ends.
Yeah, we're like lucky they even allow us to have 1 p.m. times because that's pretty damn late over there to start a game. 9 p.m. is pretty damn late to start a game.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it though. We've got some news, not a ton. Maybe some of the stuff is a little like heavy with a lot of content in it, so it might take a little bit to get through, but don't want to spend like a ton of time because obviously it's prediction day. So first thing from the OpTic podcast this week, Hecz aired out his frustration with the CDL on that OpTic podcast episode and basically said, among a lot of other things, that he hasn't been in a league call, like an owner's call, in over 2 years, which honestly, it's kind of alarming to me because one of the most, if not the most experienced owner, along with like Hastro, who could be in those calls and would have a lot of insight to offer from times when Call of Duty was the most successful and the least successful. Seems like he would have a lot of wisdom and input to offer for the esport, but I guess he hasn't been in a meeting and he's understandably very frustrated with how the league is going right now. So that's kind of alarming to see that he's almost like, I don't want to say he's given up because I know obviously he hasn't, but it's like he's almost like just throwing in the towel, like they don't listen, whatever. I'm just not going to do anything for him, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, he's like, well, I try to show up these calls, say what I have to say to help improve the league, and they don't listen to me, so what's the point?
Yeah, he's wasting his time.
Yeah, he could do other things with it.
And obviously we don't know exactly what's going on in those calls and everything, but I would just go on a limb and say whatever he's offering is probably pretty valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he knows the esports, not only just like the COD space, but he knows the esports space well. He's been in for a very long time, for many, many years, over 15 years with OpTic, founded in 06. So he's been in a long time, and he specifically knows the COD landscape very, very well. I don't think anybody would question that, even if you're an OpTic fan or not. He knows what he's talking about. So it's kind of alarming, and he voiced a lot of concerns that I think we would all agree with. Like, it just makes no sense, just the lack of support and everything they're showing and how unready this game is. Like, we're being honest, the season probably shouldn't start this week.
Yeah, it's very iffy, but we're doing it anyways.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't be starting because there are a ton of concerns with the game. Teams haven't been able to practice, but hey, for my sake, I like that it's starting because it's entertaining. But from the player standpoint and his standpoint, I can understand why they're extremely frustrated.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of that, pros and getting game changes. The pros apparently, according to CDL Intel on there, have made many coordinated pushes to try to get the game in the CDL settings up to 130 health. And then also putting red dots on the minimap, and were apparently denied. So the 130 health thing, to me, is not shocking that it's denied. I think it would be a very good thing for the game, but I can see the reasons why the developer would want it. They don't want you playing a completely different game than they're playing in pubs. I understand. I kind of understand why that one's denied, although I wish it wasn't. But I like thought maybe this tweet was worded poorly, but it makes no sense that they're denying red dots in the minimap.
Yeah, it makes no sense. The red dots on the map have been in the game for so long. Just take it out.
Also, like, I don't like that it's a thing in pubs, but like I can somewhat kind of tolerate it in pubs from
Hmm.
like a pub standpoint because like you don't rely. I mean, like it is nice to like somebody shoots, you can look at your mini map in pubs and like if you're just running around getting kills, but like you're not calling out hardcore to your teammates and playing the objective 100% and trying to win every match in pubs. Most people are just running around trying to get kills and have fun.
Yeah, yeah. Just do your challenges.
Yeah. So like for pubs, I still don't like it, but I can kind of like understand it. It's not like completely game breaking, but like for competitive, that's a massive part of the game. Like using the information that you get from when your opponent shoots
Hmm.
to know where they are, and like I guess you can technically hear where the bullets are coming from, kind of if you're listening, but like you shouldn't have to do that. Like a
Yeah.
shot comes, you see where they are on the minimap, you can kind of adjust accordingly. Like
Yep. It's just your natural instinct. You just look at the mini map for the red dot. And you just
and
get
it,
caught.
yeah, when I hear,
No.
especially in search, I hear the shots, I look.
Yep.
And like even though I look, because like you'll see like the little like flashing come from your teammate's arrow, so you know
Hmm.
that they're the one shooting, even if it's not the enemy. Like you just kind of naturally look there, and like in search and destroy specifically, it'll like somebody can shoot and just not be detected. Like
Yeah. You
it
see,
just makes no sense.
have your call outs even better. I would say without the red dots.
Yeah, and like so many calls are going to be made with like such little information because like on a and even on like when we're playing like ranked play on our level, it matters. Like the call outs are important, but on a pro
Hmm.
level, like the call out if it's missed, if you call somebody out at this doorway and they're actually at a doorway 5 feet to the left, that could make or break a hard point break, which could cost you 40 seconds, could cost you a full 60. Like the
Hmm.
minute details of a call out on the pro level are so important that they can't even call because they don't know exactly where somebody is. That's wild.
Yeah. It just like it's like the Black Ops 4 when you call one shot, but they can
Yeah.
stim. That's what it seems like they want you to do.
Yeah. The other thing I kind of just thought of too is like how many times like there's only so much stuff you can communicate in like the time you have because COD is such a fast paced game and respawn especially.
Hmm.
There are only like so many things you can communicate, like maybe a position, a health of a person, what you're doing, like what you think your teammates should do. Like there's kind of like the like nonverbal communication that goes into it in a way where like you see a red dot on the minimap, you know everybody, or you at least hope all your teammates are looking to see where it is. You don't have to necessarily call that out. You can call something else
Yeah.
out. But now like there's gonna be some weird lapse where you'd be like, how did they not know where that guy was? Or, like, how was that not called out? But it's gonna be like, oh, they're probably both thinking, hey, we are gonna look for the red dot, and both of them kind of forget it's not there, and then all of a sudden the guy sneaks through and like,
The two
yeah,
piece ruins the round, ruins the control. Hard point.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mess. I can't believe that won't get changed. I'm not shocked about the whole health thing. Like I think that was a long shot, but I'm done talking about the red dots because it literally dumbfounds me.
It just zero sense made.
Yeah. All right. Snipers, this happened last year as well. Um, snipers went from fully GA'd, you can't use them, to community uproar, nade shot speaking out on it, 100
Hmm.
Thieves, like all the LAT players speaking out, different people speaking out, and then all of a sudden they're not GA'd.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Very
Um,
interesting.
I I wonder like if it's gonna be a little bit like Vanguard though, because remember the Vanguard, they're GA'd. I went on a rant on the podcast with Kyle about how pissed I was because I just want to see snipers in the game. They're fun, and everybody's like, they're so OP. Like, we got to get them out of the game. And then honestly, snipers weren't even really used that much in Vanguard.
No, they weren't because you just die so quick, anyways.
Yeah, like,
And
shoot.
it's the sight scoping so slow.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I think maybe they might use them with no attachments because they do think they're so overpowered. They don't want to add more to them. So it might be just be like no attachment snipers. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this plays out because like in Vanguard, everybody was so pissed that they were un-GA'd and then they weren't even really used that much. So
Hmm.
I'm glad they're in the game because I think it's entertaining when there are snipers. But this was the one game I said like from playing pubs, I could somewhat understand why they want to GA because when I play pubs, I feel like they're very overpowered.
Yeah, you can hit your shots pretty good with them, I would say.
And there's aim assist on them, which in some games there isn't. I think that's a big factor. And
Yep.
I mean, like I'm hitting all my shots, and I'm not near the level of like what Dashy and Simp are doing with the sniper. So I can't imagine that they're missing. If I'm barely missing, they're not missing.
Yeah,
So that's a
definitely.
little scary.
Maybe it's about remove the aim assist
Yeah,
on the snipers.
yeah. I guess they could, but that won't happen. You know them.
Yeah, they're slow
Other,
moving. You would say.
yeah, for sure. The snipers in this game seem to aim in like pretty fast too. From like the one that I used, it aimed in like somewhat fast. I might have had an attachment out to like a quick draw kind of thing. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you the name of the attachment because there's probably 50 grips, but
the ones I've used, they aimed in pretty slow, but I've barely used the snipers or played the game really recently.
yeah, we'll have to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
Other news though, we have one more thing that's kind of game related, and then two things not game related. So we'll go with the game related thing first, kind of keep on this trend. Nate Shot, I'm sure most of you saw the clip, kind of went off on Activision a
Mm-hmm.
little bit over game crashes. He was going for like a nuke in Warzone 2. I'm not exactly sure how that works because we don't need to get into that, but like if you know it, you can say it. But like I mean, neither of us are really Warzone players. I know you can get like a regular nuke, like if you go on like a 25 or 30 streak or whatever.
I saw it was like you have to win 5 games in a row, and then the fifth game you unlock like the contract for the nuke or something like that. That's all I really know.
Okay. Because I knew it said something about he was going for like a fifth game, and then on his fifth game it crashed. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, if it is winning 5 games in a row, and he had won 4 in a row, and they crash in the fifth one, I can understand how that would be super frustrating.
They said it's been like 9 hours just playing for like
Yeah, because
basically nothing.
winning, I mean, with how random BRs are, and especially like Warzone, like you can be in a. I mean, Nadeshot's better than most players that he's loading into a lobby with.
Hmm.
So like that's kind of shocking. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just a mess to me.
Fix your game.
Yeah, and like he was like apologizing later, like he lost his cool, and I was like, I get it though. Like some of the things he's saying, like you made $1 billion in the first week of the game and it doesn't work. Like,
Yeah, it just
come on.
doesn't make sense how it just crashes for no reason.
And hopefully there's voices like him that keep speaking out because like in terms of influence, like in specifically like the Call of Duty scene and like esports world and video game world, there aren't a lot of people who have as much pull as Nadeshot does. So
Yeah,
hopefully he
definitely.
would continue to speak out, and it seems like he will because he seems to care a lot still about the
Hmm.
game. All right. Two things, a little more fun, not so gloom and doom on the game we're about to dive into. But first one, it was a CDL Intel tweet. I saw it. I thought it was interesting. I want to talk about it. I don't know if you have any answers in mind for it. If you don't, that's fine. But it was, where is it here? I wanted to get exactly what it said, but I can't find it.
It was like the
There it is. I found it. So it's a little tweet that says, "Which retired pro is this?" And then there's a bar that says talent, and the talent bar is like all the way up, and then the recognition bar is all the way low. So it's basically the question like, which retired pro had like insane talent, like super good player, but gets no recognition? Um, I don't know if you saw some of the replies to it. Big T's reply was hilarious. Did you see that?
was it that video?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did see that.
and he made some great points in that. He's like, it's something that I also always agree with. I kind of like to joke that like basketball players in the '60s were like plumbers, and like I like that joke, but I do like fully agree with what he's saying. Like obviously, like the players in sports like that are around now are going to be better than the players that played in the '50s and '60s, just because of like technology. It's more of a
Mhm.
legit thing. Like back then, they didn't make a ton of money. Now, if you become a pro athlete, you're filthy rich. Like there's so much money in it. So like everybody's training to do it. It's the top of the top. But like I do agree with him. Like no matter what time in history you're at, like if you're a pro, you're at the peak
Yeah,
of whatever it is at that time.
yeah,
So
the
like in
top.
your era, you're elite.
Yeah,
So like I
I,
get it. Like if Big T came back and played today, would he be able to hang around with like Simp and Abezy? Probably not. But in his era, he was winning 13 championships or whatever it is. So like that's still
mhm.
very impressive. He was the best of his era.
Yeah, you can only do what's in your era.
I really, 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 really liked his comparison thing. Did you hear his Thomas Edison thing at the end?
Oh, I saw that a little bit at the end of that.
I haven't actually heard that one before. I'm sure it's like a common thing, or I don't know if he came up with it, but I thought it was hilarious. And it was like, he's like, I bet you my electrician now knows more about electricity than Thomas Edison did, but that doesn't mean he's smarter than Thomas Edison. I was like, that's actually like a pretty funny, like good analogy.
Yeah,
Um, but I fully agree with him. And like, I saw some comments. I saw Nadeshot said Proofy. That's a fantastic one. Proofy was a great player. But doesn't really get talked about much because he didn't play super deep into. Remember him playing at like BO3 champs, but he was kind of on like fringe teams at the time.
yeah.
I swear he played on like Echo Fox at Black Ops 3 Champs or something.
That
I think.
might
But like
have.
either way, he didn't play much like notable teams past Ghost much.
Yeah.
After that, like Optic Nation, I think a little bit in AW maybe, but then like Tactical Rab commented like EU players, Tommy, Madcat, Swanee, Jerd, all 100%. EU
Mm-hmm.
guys just get no love in general, but all four of those guys for sure, especially Jerd and Tommy to me, even Madcat. Swanee's one of those guys that retired so early that a lot of people aren't really going to know much about him. Like Black Ops 3, I think he was pretty much done,
Yeah.
or
Around
IW,
there.
but like Jerd, fantastic player forever.
Yep.
Same with Tommy and Madcap, but those EU guys just don't get the love because they don't have as many like international wins.
Mm-hmm.
I see another top comment in here says John. I know you don't like that one.
I'm blocked that dude. I'm just kidding.
I did see Looney. I thought Looney was a good one. I feel like he gets no
Mhm.
recognition because he had a lot of good teammates, but he was like the catalyst in the IGL that like made everything go.
Yeah.
Another one on
Uh,
here, Parasite, definitely. Miracles, one I'll always
Miracles.
support. Yeah.
What about Bose and Bose? I don't really.
I feel like that's a good one. I mean, he was a very good player, and a lot of players say like he was one of the first guys to create that unique play style of like I'm not saying that he's the level of Abezy, but like a lot of people said he was like one of the first players to have that like Abezy like play style where it was just go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
You just apply pressure.
And he's good. He's like retired, like when he joined OpTic and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have played longer, but he kind of chose more looking into his future, creating
Yeah.
content, building a brand with OpTic, which I can't blame him because, like, yeah, it'd be fun to be a top COD pro, but he set himself up for life, so you can't really knock him for it.
Yeah. Can
Um,
see the future.
yeah, and I agree that, like, I agree with Rambo. Rambo said here every top tier pro that retired before AW, 100% agree. All those guys that were like ghosts and before, so many great pros that just like don't get remembered.
Mhm.
Apathy was getting a lot.
Um.
A lot of mentions for sure. Apathy, probably the two ring player that never gets mentioned.
Yeah.
Another one on here, Slacked.
What about Study?
Oh yeah, Study, Black Ops 3 Sniper. You know what one I saw on here? I just saw Hecz tweeted it, Joe, EU Joe.
Oh, Joe's pretty good there for a while.
Dirty work. He just did, he was like, he let all of his teammates shine. He dropped a .9 and just do everything they
Yeah.
needed to win. Somebody said Karma, that's faded because Karma gets an insane amount of praise.
That dude's trolling in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Karma is a great player, but he gets plenty of TP, another great one, overlooked, but has like 17 championships in the ring.
Yep.
I see a picture of Doug as
Oh,
Captain America here
oh,
from
Aaron,
Thug Censor
Aaron,
Martin.
Aaron Create did say Bose. Alright,
Yeah, I feel
I
like
scroll down.
it's one not a lot of people would think of because his career did seem so short.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw. Oh, this is the last one I wanted to mention. Aqua. I've always said that Aqua dragged his team in Black Ops 3 and Respawn.
Taco was definitely he
It's a good
definitely
one.
dragged.
Goonchar, another decent one. Always like in those earlier games, always was on like a top 4 team. But
Yep.
comment down below if you guys have any other ones. Facento, I could keep going forever. All these names are just all guys that are underappreciated. It's most of the older
Oh,
guys, in my opinion, though, that just like kind of have been forgotten.
Facento Black Ops 3 is different.
Yeah. So we don't need to keep going on in those,
Yeah.
but the whole history thing in COD always is something that I like to get into because I love that stuff. But if you guys have anybody else you think underappreciated, had a super high talent but gets no recognition, comment that down below. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's so many more names we could go through. You guys might even be able to bring up some from like Black Ops 1 that I don't know because I'm more of a Black Ops 2 and on person. I know a little bit about the history before, but personally didn't watch much before Black Ops 2. So you guys might know some that I might not even
Mhm.
know. I might have never even heard of them.
Yeah.
But also, I'd recommend going and watch Big T's quote tweet of that because it was pretty hilarious. Last thing
Big
before
T.
predictions, Nate Shot gave a little talk. I want to hear your thoughts on this because I heard Aches talk about it on the flank, and I thought his answer was like perfect.
Mhm.
But Nate Shot talked about, I believe it was on the 100T podcast. It could have been on Courage and Nate Shot show. I don't know which one, but one of their podcasts. And it was about how like in competitive team settings, the way you talk to someone in tone is like essential. Because there was like a clip that came out of like Clay and Temp really yelling at each other a lot, like a little bit back. And Nate Shot was saying like that's maybe not the best way to go about it. Like that just creates a bad environment that maybe isn't necessarily the best way to win. Um, Aches essentially, I don't know if you heard that on the flank, but he like rebutted and was like, in a corporate setting or like a real like job setting, yes, obviously you don't want to be like berating
Yeah.
people. That's not a good way to do it. But like he was saying, like in the top 0.1% where you're playing at like the top level in sports or esports, like he thought like the yelling and stuff was okay, depending on the relationship. Because like he was saying on the complexity teams, like him, Clay and Krim, or him, Karma and Krim would like scream at each other, but like none of them ever screamed at Teep. Because it's just like you just knew that like wasn't gonna work, and Teep never screamed at them. He was more chill, like the mediator.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely get where Nadeshot's coming from though. Like if you're just
It's
constantly berating your teammate and screaming at him, that's not productive.
yeah, certain players you don't do that to, but players that can handle it, you
Yeah,
can
and
do it
it's
to.
not like I don't think like I feel like a lot of people think it's super negative when you're like, oh, that guy can't handle it. I don't actually think it's that negative of a thing. Like I think like me personally as a player, like if I get frustrated with somebody in anything, like I know for a fact I can get to a point where I can get a little toxic and I'll like talk the tone that probably isn't the best, and I'm like, shit, that probably wasn't the best way to do it. But
Yeah.
I can also see like I don't respond that well to it. It's not that I can't like take that. Like if somebody wants to yell at me in like a setting like that, I can take it and I can understand like where they're coming from, that they're frustrated. But like to me, that's not the most productive way to do it for me. But I understand where both of them are coming from. I think both of them are right.
Yeah. Players wants to get the best out of Donnie for this season. Gotta yell at him a little bit.
Well, and Clay hopped on the flank after that and was explaining like him and Donnie have been friends for a very long time and like hang out outside the game. So like they feel comfortable yelling and
Yeah.
they'll be fine after. And then Clay like literally said right after that, like, I wouldn't yell at Byron or TJ, Prolute or TJ like that because
Mhm.
we're not as close like that. So like screaming at them doesn't feel comfortable to me, and I don't feel like it's the best way to get it across. So like he gets it, and obviously Clay does. He's been around forever.
Yeah.
But like I thought both of them. I thought it was an interesting conversation though, because some people I feel like when you get into competitive, some people are just so passionate and they don't know how to hone it. They just want to
Mhm.
scream at
Yeah.
teammates, which like cool if you get in an environment like that old complexity team where everybody wanted to scream and it just worked, that's perfect. But like I feel like it's a team by team basis, and you kind of
Yeah.
feel out your teammates, and you know like, hey, if I yell at this guy or I'm really intense with this guy, he's not going to respond, but this guy will. So like I don't know. And
Yeah.
people, everybody that's played a team sport or esport or anything, kind of you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
But I thought that was
I
an
I
interesting
I
conversation.
don't mind it.
Yeah, I feel like it's also like by circumstance too. Like if you're doing it all the time, it kind of loses its like purpose
Yeah.
and like loses
Mhm.
its ability. Like that's why I always thought like one player I always think in COD that was really effective was Karma with it. Because like on those OpTic teams, like Krim was always kind of blowing up, and like
Mhm.
Formal and Scump would sometimes blow up back at him. But like Karma was always pretty chill and just like said his piece, and like if they didn't listen, whatever. But then every once in a while, like there's a couple clips of it in like Black Ops 3 where he's like screaming about rotating, and it's
Yep.
like when
Yep.
Karma blew up, you knew like okay, it was serious. Like
Yeah.
he was pissed, and we need to listen to him. So like I do think it's good when certain players save that like moment of rage or moment of being stern with the team, because then
Yeah.
like when you hear him talk like that, you're like, oh shit, like Damon means business.
Yeah. Get to work.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the
Definitely.
last thing we had for news. We got predictions to dive into, Brock.
Yes, we do.
First time on the year. Doing a little bit of a different format. So like in the past when I did pick'ems or Kyle did pick'ems, we just basically picked our matches, kept track of the points, and it was 1 point for a win, um, 0 points for a loss. And we would do like a or no, like what we did last year was we did map predictions as well. So like if I said like if it was OpTic Faze, I said 3-2 OpTic, I'd get 1 point if it was OpTic. Um, correct. And then if I got the series count right, it'd be 3 points. If I got it wrong, it'd be -1. And if like the team that I pick got swept or reverse swept, it'd be -points. We're gonna keep it a little more simple because it's kind of hard to follow.
Mhm.
Um, we're gonna say map counts, but at least as of now, we're not gonna have map counts factor into the score. Although maybe we should. Maybe we should do. You get 1 bonus point if you get the map count right. You want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so no negative. Um, no negative points for getting like a map count wrong or anything, but you get 1 bonus point if you get the map count correct with the correct team. But we're gonna do something different this year. So we're gonna do confidence points. If you guys do pick'ems for sports, you might know what this is. Usually, if there's like 12 games, like 12 NFL games in a week, you say like, okay, for this game, I'm picking this team and I'm super confident, so I'm putting the most on this one. So I'd put 12 points. We're not going to make it that complicated and have like a million different points. This will be hard for you guys to follow. But what we're going to do is so for example, the first match of the week is where is it here? First match of the week is Boston versus FaZe. Let's say Brock thinks Boston is going to win and he is super confident about it. He could put anywhere between 1 to 4 points on it. And if he says Boston, I'm putting 4 points on it. If they win, he gets 4 points. If they lose, he loses 4 points on his total for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the year, we're going to update you guys every week with our points and see where we're at. But this gives us a chance, like if Brock gets off the rip and starts killing me and just getting them all right and I'm getting them all wrong, then like as we get later in the year, I'll just be picking random matchups that I know he's not going to pick, and it isn't as fun. This way,
Yeah.
if you're really shaky on a match, you can just put 1 point on it, so it's not going to kill you if you get it wrong. And if you're really confident in one, you can try to put 4 on it, and then we'll say we get 1 bonus point. If you get the map count right, you get 1 bonus point.
All right.
All right. So, you ready for this, Brock? That was a lot, but we can explain it further in the comments if anybody has any questions on it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do one match. We could do 8 points for one of the matches.
Yeah, good. I forgot about that. So yeah, we're gonna do like a special like lock of the week match where I think we should say that we have to use it. Every week we have to use it. You can't skip out on it. So every week for one match, we have to put 8 points on one match. So like whatever match you're feeling, like last year, whoever was playing Paris, you'd probably put 8 points on. But like whoever you feel most confident in, or like whatever match you want to do it on, you have to put 8 points on one team. So that could be a big swing match. If you keep getting that one right, it's gonna be worth a lot.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into it. First day of matches. First match got Atlanta versus Boston.
Who
Who you got, Brock?
I'm going Boston.
Are you?
First game.
First game. I mean, this is the time to pick upsets, and like we said, we were talking about this before the podcast. If there's ever a week where we're probably going to do really horrible, it's this week because we haven't seen any of these teams play. Like, we're basically just looking at a roster on paper and saying, I like this team a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's always a couple teams that surprise. So you're going Boston. What's map count and confidence points?
3-2.
3-2 Boston. Confidence points on it?
I'll put 2.
Okay. So you're saying Boston 3-2 with 2 confidence points. I'm going to go Atlanta just because I know boring pick, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of hard not to pick them.
Yeah.
It's like they're Atlanta Faze, and you're doing 2 confidence points. I'm going to say Atlanta 3-1. I'm going to put 2 on this one as well. I feel pretty good about Atlanta, but I feel like it's going to be a tough week.
The first week.
I feel it's going to be a tough week to put a lot of like 4-pointers down as we start to see who our like clear best teams are and maybe our worst teams. Like if they match up, it'll get a lot easier to put like the confidence points on it, you know?
Yep.
But this, I don't know.
The first game, who knows? Yeah, who knows what happened?
Any reason you're on Boston early?
You know, I think Zinni's gonna come up frying first week.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't know. I feel like when I'm betting on a game early and I don't know anything, and if one team has Simp, Abezy, and Cellium, it's hard to bet against that team when I don't know much about either team.
Yeah, it's definitely fair.
So I'm going with them. But
rolling with it.
Second match on Friday. These first 2 matches, I'm really intrigued because I'm intrigued to see this Boston team with Awakening. Like I said all last year, they need more slaying, and that's what they add with Big Wake over TJ. So I'm really interested to see this Boston team play, and obviously I want to see what Faze looks like with Slasher. And then this second match, also a really good one. We get to see OpTic back with their full roster versus that new Minnesota team that we're both super intrigued by.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, so many of these are going to be like toss-ups, and I mean, even like usually like the Vegas matches would be maybe shoe-ins, but like from everything we've been hearing, Vegas looks like extremely good in scrims. Apparently, like people are ranking them in their top 5 in power rankings. So I don't know. I'll go first in this one though. We can alternate maybe who goes first.
All right, yeah. So
I'm gonna take Minnesota. I think.
Ooh.
This one is a toss-up to me, but from what I've heard, both teams, like when you look at like what the like preseason rankings is, I think Minnesota is ranked higher from like coaches poll and stuff. If I look at the right one, and people have said OpTic scrims maybe aren't necessarily the best, but I still think that they could easily come on Fry. They're obviously a talented team, but last year also OpTic lost their first match. They're historically just the OpTic organization seems to start a little slow at tournaments and maybe right in the beginning of the year, but like however they do usually win the first major of a lot of COD titles.
Yeah.
So that's kind of going against this. But I'm going to say this is a tough game. Minnesota early on will be the better search team. So I'm going to say Minnesota 3-2, but I'm only going to put 1 on this
Okay.
one because I
Well,
don't
one conference
love
point.
the pick. I don't love either team.
All
This matchup.
right.
Who you got?
I'm going Minnesota 3-1. Also put in 1
Okay, we're
confidence point on
both
it. Yeah.
believing in Minnesota. I'm going against my theory from last year where I'd pick basically OpTic and Faze in every match because they won 75% of their matches. So it was like,
Yeah. That's a good one to pick usually.
It'll be an interesting match though. I'm really excited for this one. I'm excited to see how the sub duos do, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like we know what Cammy and Attach and Dash and Ilya are gonna bring, like consistent slaying, and Dash or Ilya will do the dirty work, and obviously all those ARs are great. But I'm interested to see how the subs do because we know Shotzi and Scump, but the Bance Afro duo, I'm interested if they can keep up with Shotzi and Scump. I think they'll be able to, but to me, that's where the difference could be for OpTic. I think if
Mm-hmm.
OpTic's sub duo is able to completely outplay Bance and Afro because they don't have as much chemistry, that could hurt them. And I feel like that is one way that OpTic could win this series for sure is a lot more team chem
Yeah, definitely.
because
100%.
Minnesota's new and OpTic has a full year together. And not
Full
only has a full year
year.
together, but Dashy and Scump have played together for years and Illy and Shotzi for years.
Yeah.
Just a little more chem there. But we do have, I mean, I guess you do have Cammy and Bance who played together for a long time on the other side. So a little bit of chemistry.
It'd be interesting to see.
All right. Then third match on Friday, we've got Vegas versus
my.
Thieves.
The
And
reigning champs.
yeah, reigning champs play their first match. A lot of people are putting them at like number 1 in power rankings. Apparently, they have looked pretty good. A lot of people still have confidence in them. But Vegas, usually 12 in every power rankings, is cracking a lot of people's top 6 based on scrim results. They're looking pretty good, apparently, Brock.
That's what I like to see out of the Vegas Legion. I'm gonna pick Thieves 3-2, and I'll put 2 confidence points.
Putting 2 on it.
Yep.
It's LAT. I'm just we're putting these all down in a little spreadsheet so we can keep track throughout the year. You said Vegas or Thieves 3
3-2.
and 2 points on it.
Yep.
All right.
Seems like, the throw a punt, but the Thieves will clutch up in the end.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna pick Vegas here. So then I was maybe gonna go Thieves, just like somebody got to pick Thieves, but I might pick Vegas.
That's not a
It's
bad
just like
pick.
if it's the week to pick them, it's always that first week is the week you want to pick upsets because it's probably gonna be the most random week.
Yeah.
Like throughout the year, who do I think is gonna be the better team? I'll put my money on Thieves to be the better team throughout the year. But Thieves, they started a little slow last year. There might be a little bit of a champs hangover. I'm gonna go with Vegas. I'm gonna go with Vegas 3-2.
3-0?
Not 3-0. I'm gonna put 1 point only on it. And I do think like if there's a game mode that Thieves will struggle in, like they did for a good portion of last year, I think it will be Search.
Yeah.
So I think a formula to win this for Vegas would be like 2 searches and steal a respawn.
Yeah.
Something like that. That seems like it would be a formula to me. But I'm only putting 1 confidence point on this because I'm frankly not that confident. I feel like whenever you pick Vegas, it's hard to put anything more than 1 point on them until they prove otherwise.
Yeah,
Whatever the bottom teams in the league are, like imagine last year if we were doing confidence points, putting 4 points on Paris. Like,
yeah,
you're really risking it. Our last match though, Brock, it's your team you're really high on, but
I'm so excited.
Scrim rankings, I don't think have them very high. I think the last time I saw Scrim rankings, I had them at like 11.
That's okay. We're talking about practice?
Yeah, it's LAG, Seattle. Who you got here? Are you rolling with LAG?
I'll roll LAG 3-2.
How many points are you putting on? You're gonna put your confidence in your boys?
No, not this one. I'll put 3 though.
Putting 3 on it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna up you, and I'm gonna put 4 points on Seattle.
Ooh.
In a 3-0.
A hot 3-0?
Hot 3-0 to end the night. Putting 4 confidence points on it. It's not one of the teams. There was like a joke. Oh wait, did Florida? Oh yeah, Boston did play. Oh, you're gonna get that one right. We'll see if the curse continues. But last year, Boston and Florida, if I picked them, they lost. If I picked against them, they won. We like kept track of it, and it was every single time. Whatever I picked them to do, they did the opposite.
Oh really?
So we'll have to see what Boston and Florida did this year. But like basically, whatever I picked, it was like no joke. And then like when they played each other, I'd pick one, and it would like still somehow like it would still flip. Like no matter what I did, even when they played each other, I couldn't get it right. It was
You
ridiculous.
just they're listening somehow from
But
the game when you pick them.
yeah, I guess. So we got a lot of confidence points in this one though. You got LAG 3-2, and I've got
Yep.
Seattle 3-0, and you have 3 on it. I have 4 on it. The max we can put on. Besides, obviously, if you're going to go with an 8.1 at some point.
Yeah. It does seem fair for now.
All right, I got to remember that. I got to use my 8 points at some point here. But we're moving on to Saturday matches now. Battle of the North kicks it off on Saturday. Minnesota, Toronto, good rivalry. Cammy and Bance playing their former team. Standy playing his former team. Pretty good matchup here. Maybe, honestly, of the matchups this weekend, it might be the one I'm looking forward to the most looking through them. This is definitely up there. Definitely up there because it's 2 new look teams that I have very high hopes for. So I kind of want to see what they look like early on. But this is a very tough series to predict, in my opinion, at least.
Bance and Cammy returning to play their old team.
Well, what you got? Who you feeling? On this one? I want to lean. I don't know. We both have Minnesota winning their first match. Toronto doesn't play on Friday.
I will. This is difficult.
I know.
3-1 Toronto.
3-1 Toronto. I was thinking of going Toronto too, but I don't know.
Up at 2 confidence points.
Toronto 3-1. You said?
Yeah, 3-1.
With 2 confidence points. I kind of like the Toronto pick. We've been opposite on actually most of the matches. I mean, we were opposite on 3 of the 4 on Friday, which is probably like the one time you're going to see that. As you go on, obviously, you know who the better teams are. You get a little bit more commonality between the teams. But I also think I like Toronto here. I feel like Toronto's going to be a faster starting team than Minnesota, but towards the middle to end of the year, we might say Minnesota's better. But I think Toronto's going to come out of the gate a little bit better. I think this is going to be a closer one, though. I'm going to go. No, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Toronto 3-1.
2
And I'm
points?
gonna. No, I'm gonna put 1 on it. I don't feel super confident about this one. I'm only gonna put 1 down. I can't fully copy you. Only gonna put 1 down, but that's the match I'm like first match Saturday. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. That'll be post World Cup match for the US. So hopefully we're watching it nice and happy after the US took out Netherlands.
That's the goal, baby.
Then we've got NYSL London, Brock.
Oh my god. The Val brothers.
This is
London.
I just feel like London is just talked about so poorly. Like, I mean, coming up here, the first match on Sunday is LAG London, which I think the one power rankings I saw based on scrims, that's the 11th and 12th team.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. But London obviously talked about so poorly, but there's ever a time usually where the teams that are maybe towards the bottom win. It's early on before everything's figured out, and then things kind of even themselves out. But I don't know. I don't feel too confident in either team in this one. I feel like I should feel more confident in NYSL, but I just don't know.
Honestly, I'll pick London 3-2. I'll just put 1 confidence point.
Going a little bold with London. I feel like picking London's a little bold. It's probably the upset pick here. I'm assuming NYSL is more of the favorite.
Trey Boy Cardi, a little bit of nasty in there. Asim, Pollux.
I feel like they could start out pretty hot. I feel like they could start out hot. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm gonna say 3-1 NYSL though. I'm gonna throw 3 points on this one. I've been wagering 1 a lot. I'm gonna throw 3, get a little bit more points thrown into this one. But I don't know. I just feel like lack of practice on this game. Like people haven't been able to practice. It could come down to a little bit more just like pure raw talent this weekend. And look at these 2 rosters. I think the talent favors NYSL.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Seattle, Boston. You're gonna ride with Boston again to go 2-0 this weekend?
No. They have their 1 Cinderella story first game. I'm gonna go 3-0.
Oh, you're picking Seattle in a 3-0 now.
Seattle 3-0, 2 points.
2 points. I don't know why, but I'm feeling really good about Seattle this weekend. Although I'm also feeling pretty good about Boston. Boston has a tough weekend. Atlanta and Seattle, they could come out of this weekend 0-2, like pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like. I mean, like I don't know. Like looking at some of the other teams that have two matches, like who's one here? I feel like if like Texas came out of the weekend, if OpTic came out of the weekend 0-2, I'd be a little concerned because obviously Minnesota, I think they could lose to, but Florida's supposed to be more of a bottom team.
Yeah.
So if they came out 0-2, like Minnesota's a team that I would feel like OpTic and Minnesota are kind of on the same level in my mind right now. And then I
Yeah.
would say OpTic is ahead of Florida pretty clearly. So like if OpTic came out 0-2, I'd be concerned. But like if Boston comes out this weekend 0-2, I'm kind of
Can't
like
really.
whatever. If they come out 2-0 though, I'm probably very impressed.
Yeah, it's just like
But I don't
Boston,
know.
middle of the pack team.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to learn a lot about Boston this weekend. They're either going to have maybe two blowout losses and we're going to be like, yeah, they're still that middle bottom team. Or maybe they come out, look super competitive with a 1-1 or maybe even a 2-0. Or even if they
Mm-hmm.
look super competitive in an 0-2 weekend, like 2 game 5s or something, we're
Yeah,
going to have a pretty good feel on what Boston is for major one, I feel like, after this weekend. Unless maybe Seattle and Atlanta aren't as good as we think they are.
that
Could
is
always be
true.
the case too. But I'm going to go Seattle here as well. They're a team that I've always had a lot of confidence in since I saw Pred do his thing last year. I think it's a little closer series though. I haven't picked a 3-2 in a while. I'm gonna go 3-2 on this one.
Ooh.
And I'm also gonna put 2 points on it.
I just want to see. I also want to see what Boston can do against the top dogs this year. Because unlike last year, it's always like 3-1, 3-0.
100%. I That was always the thing. It was like Boston was kind of like the gatekeeper for the top last year. It was like once they got to like that fourth team, they could never crack.
Mm-hmm.
They'd beat all the teams below them consistently, and then they could like never beat a top team. Couldn't beat
Yeah,
Faze.
or OpTic.
Yeah. Last
Yeah.
match, Brock, two teams
Oh
that we
my.
basically both predicted to not make it to champs, Florida and Las Vegas.
Oh, like
Surprisingly, like
crap.
intrigued by this one because maybe we can see
Mm-hmm.
which team is more towards the bottom.
3-2. Not Florida. Vegas.
Mhm.
3-2 Vegas. I'll put 3.
Ooh, you're pretty confident in Vegas.
Yeah. And now if Dave Patty was playing on Florida, I might have to pick a hot 3 on 20 minutes for Dave Patty's Florida, but he's not playing.
I like it though. I like the Vegas pick. I also kind of wanted to pick Vegas, but that's going to be wild because I'll have them going 2-0 on the weekend.
Never know. The
It kind of kills me
turnaround.
though because like the Vegas over Thieves pick, I don't feel super confident in. Like that one, I think is kind of a wild pick. I'm honestly, I'm like, if I had to put my life on it, I'm probably still going to pick the Thieves. But I
Mm-hmm.
went with Vegas with a 1 confidence point earlier,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, man, I might not have picked Vegas if I knew that means I'm going to pick them to go 2-0 on the weekend. Because even though I've heard they've been pretty good, I'm still not ready to just like go all in on them. But I'm going to pick them because I just don't like this Florida team at all. I'm not a fan. Although I do see a world where this Florida team could kind of get things done because Major Maniac's on the team and he just wins.
He is a winner.
I'm going to say Vegas 3-1, and I just threw a bunch of confidence points in the last couple of matchups. I'm only going to throw a 1 on this one. Just 1. Hopefully I get it right.
Mm-hmm.
But Vegas 3-1. I think in that matchup, though, to dive into a little bit more of like why we're picking them, I feel like it's just, I don't know, that one might be a talent thing. Maybe Vickle pops off for Florida and I get a little bit more confidence in this team, but I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
veterans on Vegas, and apparently they've looked really good in scrims. I feel like the veterans on Vegas are going to have a little bit more of a system established early
Yeah.
than more of like Brack, Vickle, Major Maniac, more of like a ragtag crew that haven't really had any experience together, may not know each other that well. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
this crew on Vegas might have a system better in place early on with Clay there.
Yeah, for sure. But Florida, they do have Havoc, and he's not on land, so
Yeah, he's an onliner.
they might come
Uh,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
another matchup, Brock, of two teams that are maybe people aren't too confident in right now.
I know. All right, I'm doing LAG 3-1.
Yeah, so this is the first match on Sunday, LAG London.
LAG London 3-1. 8 confidence points.
Oh my god, I forgot I had to put 8 on one again. I keep forgetting. I might have to go back and
Fifth one.
change one at some point because I just keep forgetting about that. You said 3-1
Yeah,
LAG
3-1.
with 8 points on it.
Yep.
God, you're putting it all on LAG. I completely forgot. I might have to
This one right here though, like below it
Backtrack.
though, you could probably definitely take that.
The one right below it. Yeah, I was actually that was one that my eyes went to. The second match and last match on Sunday, my eyes went to. I
Hmm.
actually thought, even though I picked it 3-2 and I think it is gonna be close, I thought about putting um 8 on Seattle in the ball. I actually thought about putting 8 on Seattle in both their matches. Actually, okay, I'm gonna agree with you. Actually, I kinda wanna take London. Yeah,
Ooh,
we were screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm taking London.
okay, okay.
I'm taking London 3-1. One confidence point because I don't feel confident at all. But I'm going back in time, rewind it, forget everything I said. I'm putting 8 points on Faze against Boston.
Oh, that's probably
Faze owned Boston last year, and I feel like it's almost all
that's
the
a
same
good one to
players on both
take.
teams. So I'm gonna put 8 on. It's boring because it's Faze. It's like, wow, you put 8 points on Faze. Real big risk there, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put 8 points on them. So I'm changing my confidence points in that first match from 2 all the way to 8 as we're
Hmm.
going over the rest of the matches.
Yeah,
Um, But I took London 3-1 over LAG. You took LAG 3-1 over London. You put 8 on it. This is your big match. I only put
yeah.
1. But
I
I
went
don't know.
crazy for LAG.
Yeah, and I feel like, that's going to be you all year. I thought about this next match, putting my 8 on this one, though.
Yeah,
OpTic versus Florida. We both have OpTic losing their first match against Minnesota. We both also have Florida losing their first match against Vegas. So in our minds, this is two 0-1 teams matching up.
yeah. 3-1 Texas. I'll do 3 points.
You like 3 points.
I would
You
say
said
3-0, but they have Major Maniacs, so he'll get you one.
he'll always get you one. And you're putting 3 points on it.
Yep.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna say Texas. I'm gonna say 3-0 though. I'm gonna say they come out hot, a little motivated after a loss.
Just
I-
steamroll
I'm
them.
throwing 4 on this one. Try to gain
Okay.
some points. Try to gain some points on you here. Um, I also though the one thing that does give me pause is like in the CDL era and especially MW and then also last year, Florida always has OpTic's number.
Yeah, that
They
is.
they beat him a lot. Like with that Pharaoh team that was winning a lot of events, they would always take out Huntsman and then um last year is like every land Florida was knocking OpTic to losers bracket, and they eliminated them. Right, they eliminated them at the event we were at.
Yeah, Major 2.
Yeah.
Dave Patey.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't
Did they
kill
eliminate
him.
him? I can't remember if that was winners or they eliminated him, but they beat them,
Yeah, I
and
think.
they tend to have their number.
Mhm.
So we'll see, but we both pick OpTic there.
Yeah.
Maybe what a lot of people would think is the match of the weekend. Probably this one coming up, third match on Sunday. LA Thieves versus Atlanta
Potentially.
champs finals rematch. So for that reason, it maybe would be considered the match of the weekend, but should be a really good matchup. Who you got? You going with the result of last champs finals? You saying
This
Thieves
is
is going
the
to take them out again?
this is difficult.
I think these
Uh,
next two are difficult to me.
This one for sure. I'll 3-2. Atlanta, not Atlanta. LA Thieves. Jeez, I can't talk.
You're going Thieves
I'll put
3-2.
I'll put one. I just feel like LA Thieves gonna have their number again this year for some reason.
There's a new element to this though with Slasher and maybe having a little bit more bad blood
I know
with
that
the
is off.
Thieves. There's a little bit of an element of revenge there. Is like it's not like he's the new guy that joined the team and doesn't have that revenge factor because he wasn't on the team. He also kind of does have that revenge factor because he did think he found his long term home and then they drop him and everything. And
Bench him, bring him back, and
yeah,
drop him.
yeah. So there is that revenge factor there for
Yeah,
Slasher. Um, I think this is gonna be a good match. Oh, it's just so hard to ever pick against FaZe in the regular season because every year they win like 80+% of their matches.
yeah.
And
They rarely lose.
I already picked Vegas to beat Thieves. Like if I pick them to lose here, I'm picking them to go 0-2 on the weekend, which I feel like is pretty unlikely. Although if they lose to Vegas, it's not unlikely at all because I
Yeah,
mean it's not a shock if anybody ever loses to FaZe. Uh, I'm gonna stick with my guns and say like in general, when we don't know much about teams, I'm never gonna bet against Simp, Abezy, and Cellium very often. So I'm gonna say Atlanta wins this one. I'm gonna say 3-1. I think Thieves takes the control after being down 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw 3 on this one. I'm gonna say I'm pretty confident. I'm really going all in. If Faze wins this weekend, I get 11 points just off their wins, not including if I get the map counts right, because I got 8 on their first match and 3 on their second one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put 3 on that one. It's a toss up though. I'm excited to see this one though because I do think like a tone could be set for the year if Thieves comes out and beats them again and kind of establishes that dominance of them that they
Mm-hmm.
had at the end of last year. I think that could be a big, big, big momentum riding thing for Thieves to not have any kind of champs hangover. But
Yep.
also, if FaZe comes out, um, takes out Boston, dominates them like they did all last year, reestablish that confidence, and then is able to get over the hump of LA Thieves with a new roster, they might feel super confident. It might be a boost for them. I feel like this is a big,
Yeah.
big match for how like at least the short term of this year looks for
Yeah, for
those teams.
both. If Thieves wins, it's a Thieves win. The FaZe boys like, can we really beat this team? Can we
Yeah.
keep losing to them?
And if Thieves wins, it's just that delusional confidence continues. That I'm sure they have that delusional confidence right now. They just won champs, so
Yeah.
they gotta have it.
Mm-hmm.
Last match, another one. Like these are we've talked about it before. Like teams that I'm specifically excited for. To me, Toronto, Minnesota, and NYSL are like 3 teams, and Seattle. Those 4 teams are like teams I'm specifically excited for. And then I see Boston. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to watch every team play. COD's back. I'm excited to watch them all.
Yeah.
But this one I'm really intrigued by because I feel like it's a team that I'm very high on in Toronto and a team that I want to be very high on in New York because I see a ton of talent, but I'm a little shaky on how it all comes together. So I'm excited to see what this match looks like. I'll pick first in this one though, because you've been
Mm-hmm.
picking first, so I'll let you go off mine and change if you want to. But I'm gonna say Toronto. Taking Toronto on this one. I want to pick a 3-2. I don't have any 3-2s on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 3-2, and I'm gonna just go back. I put 4 and 3 on a couple. I'm just gonna put 1 on this one. I don't feel
Okay.
as confident in Toronto on this one, but I'm very intrigued. I wonder if this is a lot of talent. On one side we've got Hydra and Skies, and on the other side you've got Scrappy playing in his second match. After he plays Minnesota earlier, you got Insight, Kleenex. There's just a lot of talent overall in this matchup, so I'm excited to see this one. I think it could be a heavyweight fight. I hope it's a 3-2 and it comes down to around 11, but going Toronto 3-2 with only 1 point on it.
Okay. I'm gonna pick different. I'm gonna pick NYSL 3-1.
Okay.
The Bulldogs unleashed. Gonna get his first W after they lose to London.
How many points you put on that?
I'm just gonna put 1.
All right. You picked no 4-pointers this week. You went a lot of 2s and 3s and a few 1s. I went with same thing, kind of a decent amount of 2s and 3s, few 1s, but I picked a couple 4s.
Yeah, if they hit,
They hit, I'm going to
I
be
might,
up big.
might,
If
I
they
might be in
don't,
some
I'm going to be
trouble.
down. But that's the new way we're doing predictions this year. I kind of like it. Throw a little points. You get to wager things. Then if one of us gets down, we can start throwing 4-pointers and all the ones we're confident in to try to make up points.
Yeah.
Um,
And then
got our 1 pick. We got to do 8.
we also get a point if the correct map count is right.
Yep. So basically, the way the points are going to work is if you pick, like for example, for the first match, Brock picked Boston 3-2 and put 2 points on it. So if Boston wins in any fashion, Brock's going to get 2 points. If 3-2 is correct, he'll get 3 points. However, if Atlanta wins, no matter what the map count is, he'll just get -2 for that match.
Yeah.
And I'll get 8 because that means Atlanta won. And if they win 3-1, I'll get 9 points for that one. So if Atlanta wins 3-1 in the first match, I'm going to have a 9 to -2 lead on Brock.
Yeah, I might be down bad for the first match.
One of us is going to be in a big lead, though, either way. Because if Boston wins, I'm down 2 or 3 to -8. So there's going to be a big lead after that first match. But I'm excited. It gives us a chance that if one of us is down big, we can come back later in the year with a roaring finish. We'll probably keep the majors separate and just do like a full-on bracket. Keep them out of the prediction points. But
yeah, for sure.
You got anything else, or you wanna wrap up?
No, I'm just excited for COD's coming back. Can't wait to watch.
And
been a while.
And I don't know, like it's always just so different. You just never know. Like I wouldn't expect us to have a ton of news next week on the pod because like there's not. I mean, I would think there's not gonna be any roster changes or like roster rumors because it's one weekend of matches. Like usually there becomes a lot more news when like game updates are happening or there's drama between players or like roster changes are happening. There's roster media. There's rumors to talk about. Like there'll be a lot of news in that regard. But like, I would expect next week we're just gonna maybe deep dive. Maybe we'll pick a couple matches and really dig into them, or like maybe jot down some notes when you're watching about stuff you saw, and we can
Mhm.
talk about specific plays. And you got to remember, Brock and I haven't really touched competitive in this game much either because there's no ranked play. And obviously, we're
Yeah,
not scrimming, we're not pros or anything. So, like, we're going to be learning a lot about the maps. That's honestly what I'm most excited about, is just to consume so much knowledge about the maps.
yeah,
But we'll do some deep dives. We'll do a little bit more like analytical stuff. We'll look at numbers in the series and like advanced stats, stuff like that. And we'll come back next week and do a lot of analysis on the matches. Um, but we're going to wrap it up
excited,
now. Excited to
excited,
watch?
excited to watch. Hopefully it's Vanguard, but in MW2 form. All the close
Yeah,
games
just all
like
three
last year.
twos.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. But that's gonna do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new here, could be a decent amount of new viewers because we usually see a pretty big uptick in unique viewers come the new season when predictions are out because everybody's just trying to
Hmm.
consume some CDL content. This is the first week, so if you guys are new here, you want to drop a sub, drop a comment down below, let us know you enjoyed the video. That'd be great. Or just want to comment on your predictions, anything really that we talked about in the video, your thoughts on some underappreciated players of all time. We want to hear that. From the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review on there. Help us get to 800 subs on YouTube. Our goal at some point before the end of the year is to get to that 1K mark. Not as far off as it would have seemed just a short time ago, but we really killed it in the offseason. I hope you guys continue to help us kill it during the season. But thank you guys so much for watching. And we will see you next week with some analysis of some matches finally, not just more random news. We'll be talking about matches. So have fun watching pod this weekend, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.